Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Rebecca Fox, and today I'll be discussing a critical issue facing Starbucks, a company globally recognized for its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, or also known as DEI. Despite this strong public image, Starbucks is currently underperforming in one of Fortune's key dimensions, people management. In this presentation, I will walk you through the current issue, analyze its implications, and provide a change plan using Kotter's 8-step model. Starbucks has been long admired for its socially conscious values, from supporting fair trade coffee to offering benefits to part-time workers. The company has positioned itself as one of the foremost DEI leaders. However, a gap has emerged between what the company stands for and how employees are actually treated on the ground with the customers. This discrepancy has triggered a union effort, employee protests, and negative press. That is the paradox we will explore today. The heart of the issue is that Starbucks has a people management issue. In recent years, the company has faced numerous unionization campaigns. Employees have alleged that the company uses an anti union mindset, and in some cases, maybe even retaliating against the union organizers. For a brand that champions equity and inclusivity, these actions in turn undermine its credibility and the morale among its staff. Let's look at the consequences. This graph shows how the people management issue affects multiple areas: morale, public trust, union activity, and even a legal risk. If Starbucks fails to address this issue, it risks its long-term reputation, bringing forth a damage that can it really be fixed? It can bring about rising legal costs and even a diverted workforce, a damaged workforce, a lack of trust. Moreover, it even may alienate the very customers who support Starbucks because of its value, i.e., that damaged trust. Let's examine the structure and the culture. Starbucks operates on a relatively flat organizational model in the sense that they promote autonomy at the store level. While this can encourage agility, it can also lead to an inconsistent management practice and actually have a limited accountability across its multi-locations. According to Lee and Edmondson from 2017, decentralized systems can actually backfire when employee treatment is not standardized. In essence, Starbucks' empowering model lacks the guardrails needed to protect its employees in a fair way. Starbucks promotes a conscious culture, one that values employees, communities, and sustainability. However, if those values aren't embedded in daily decision making, they can become performative. That can create then a disconnect between the values and the actual practices that can lead to distrust. For Starbucks to regain its well-known credibility, it needs to go back to the drawing board with its behavior and with its brand and make them cohesive. Kotter's change model. On this slide, we have steps 1 through 4. That first phase of steps 1 through 4 include creating urgency by sharing employee concerns transparently, creating a discussion board, not having retaliation. Step 2, forming a guiding coalition through its managers, supervisors, human resource professionals, and even more importantly, those frontline workers. Step 3, Creating a vision that is centered on equity and dignity at all levels. Creating an even playing field is one way to look at it. Step 4, communicating that vision is continuous and consistent and will be seen as a follow through. The final steps. These next 4 steps heavily focus on implementation of those first 4 steps. Step 5, empower action. So we're going to remove the policy barriers and train managers in employee rights. Step 6, generate short-term wins, perhaps by piloting that union cooperative model in select stores. See how it goes, what can be changed, what does not need to be changed. Step 7, sustain that acceleration by tracking employee satisfaction over time. No change, positive or negative, happens right away. What can we do? What do we see as a positive or a negative trend? And lastly, step 8, anchor changes in the culture by updating the mission statements and the manager incentives and maybe even employee incentives to reflect that new mindset, that new foundational, the new norm. Change isn't easy. Change isn't overnight. Management might resist. They might have a fear of loss of control. That's okay. That's normal. How will Starbucks respond? Starbucks must realign those subsystems, especially in regards to their HR policies, internal communication, and performance management. Having transparent policies and worker protections need to be at the foundational institutionalized level. It then can lead to a rebuild of trust and consistency. There are several takeaways here. First, even the most forward-thinking progressive brands are at risk of falling short when that culture is not met with structure, making everything be cohesive, essentially. Second, change must come from within and be supported by a systematic realignment. So it goes from the top of Starbucks all the way down to those frontline workers. And those frontline workers are going to be watching the people at the top. As a future leader, I myself have learned the importance of listening to the employees who are on the ground, boots to the wall, and making equity more than just a slogan, something we are seeing in today's society. In closing, Starbucks has that strong foundational value, but it has to do more than to support and champion the DEI theory in words only. Actions need to follow it. Through a structured change, inclusive leadership, and organizational alignment, Starbucks can reclaim its people's first mission and ideology. And that's the kind of leadership that our organizations, and more importantly, our world, need today. All sources used today are cited here in a APA 7th edition format. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any further questions. Thank you.